So you bought Ferrari. Congratulations. It cost you north of $80 billion, which means you just paid more than the value of Ford or Nissan for a factory that builds fewer cars in a year than Toyota builds before Friday. 13,600 cars. That's the whole year. And yet somehow, this tiny boutique pulled in over 7 billion euros, kept 1.6 billion as pure profit, and earns about 155,000 euros on every single car, while a normal automaker earns the price of a used scooter. Which is why, on day one, your head of production walks in with a completely reasonable idea. The waiting lists are years long. Demand is insane. Let's build more cars. But you say no, because your company has one sacred rule, written by its founder, Enzo Ferrari. Always build one car less than the market demands. Every year, on purpose, you leave billions on the table. And somehow, that's exactly why you're rich. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the most profitable thing your factory produces isn't a car. It's the word no, and the market already understands it, even if your napkin doesn't. Your little factory in Maranello, Italy, is valued like a tech company, worth more than car giants selling 100 times your volume. Collectors treat your products like art. Some old Ferraris have sold for more than $50 million at auction, which means a machine your company built decades ago now out-earns entire office buildings by sitting still. And your napkin math keeps whispering the same thing your production guy said. Build more, earn more. The napkin is thinking like a car company. That right there is the mistake. To understand what you actually own, meet the ghost in your building. Enzo Ferrari didn't even want to sell cars. He wanted to race. That's all he cared about. Road cars existed for one reason: to fund the racing team. He was brilliant, difficult, and gloriously arrogant, and he treated customers less like buyers and more like applicants. And in 1963, that arrogance created your biggest competitor. A wealthy tractor manufacturer came to Enzo complaining about the clutch in his Ferrari. Enzo, according to the legend, told him a tractor maker had no business lecturing him about sports cars. The tractor maker drove home furious and built his own car company. His name was Ferruccio Lamborghini. Sit with that. Your customer service was once so insulting, it accidentally founded Lamborghini. And the twisted part? It didn't damage the brand, it built it. Because Enzo discovered, decades before economists named it, the strongest force in luxury. The thing you cannot have is the thing you cannot stop wanting. Now let's follow the actual money, because the numbers get better the closer you look. Your 13,000 cars generated 7.1 billion euros, which means the average Ferrari leaves the gate at more than 400,000 euros once the customer is done with the options list. And the options list, my friend, is where civilization peaks. This is your atelier and tailor-made program. Special paint matched to a customer's vintage 1962 car, extra. Carbon fiber everything, extra. Hand-stitched one-of-one interiors, extra. Extra, extra. Personalization routinely adds 10 to 20% to the car's price, at margins that would embarrass a jeweler, and your own annual report says the quiet part out loud. Profits jumped 12% this year, while car volumes stayed basically flat, powered by richer mix and personalization. Translation: you're not selling more cars, you're selling more car per car. The customer calls it self-expression. Your accountants call it the most profitable coloring book on earth. Still with me? Good. Quick pit stop. This channel does this same teardown on a different business every few days, and subscribing is the only waiting list on earth you get onto instantly. Anyway, Tomasos, now for the part nobody talks about. Let's open the hood and ask an uncomfortable question. Who actually makes this thing? Because here's the secret of the supercar business. Your factory doesn't make most of the parts. Almost nobody's does. The brakes on your million-euro hypercar? Brembo. The same Italian brake company supplying half the car industry. The tires? Pirelli, Michelin. The same names on cars costing 1% of yours. Electronics and components have long come from giants like Bosch and Marelli. Marelli being, historically, part of the same Fiat industrial family as everyone else in Italy. The legendary leather in your seats? A famous Italian furniture house, Poltrona Frau, stitches it. Gearboxes for many models came from specialist suppliers who also served your competitors, including, yes, Lamborghini. Strip a Ferrari to its supplier list, and you find something almost scandalous. A lot of the same names your neighbor's hatchback uses. So, what does Maranello actually make? Two things. First, the engine. The engines are born in house in Ferrari's own foundry, and that's deliberate. The engine is the soul, and the soul is never outsourced. And second, the thing no supplier on earth can ship you, the myth. That's the real product of the factory. Brembo can sell anyone the brakes. Nobody can sell you 70 years of racing legend, which is why your margins are 29.5% and the hatchbacks are 5. You're both assembling parts. You're the only one assembling a legend around them. And the legend has a very specific engine of its own: racing. The Formula One team wasn't Enzo's marketing department. It was his whole reason for existing. And it's still the myth machine. Ferrari is so essential to Formula One that the sport has historically paid Ferrari a special bonus worth tens of millions a year just for being Ferrari, the only team with that privilege. 60 years of red cars on Sunday television is why a dentist in Ohio dreams in Italian. Add the lifestyle empire, merchandise, licensing, an actual Ferrari theme park in Abu Dhabi, and you have millions of people paying you for the privilege of advertising your brand. $20 caps funding the legend of €2 million cars, which brings us to Dimitri. Dimitri is a billionaire, and Dimitri wants your newest limited model. He walks in, points, and says the 5 words that work everywhere else on Earth. I'll take it. Any color. And your dealer smiles and explains that, no, he won't. That model is by invitation only. To even be considered, Dimitri should already own several Ferraris, service them at official dealers, attend the club events, behave, in short, like a good member of the family. Dimitri, who could buy an island by Thursday, is now on a years-long waiting list for the regular model, being quietly evaluated like a country club applicant. And here's what you need to understand as the owner. Dimitri will not storm off. Dimitri will wait. Dimitri will buy 2 lesser models and a branded watch to improve his standing. The rejection didn't lose a customer. It manufactured your most devoted one. You probably assumed scarcity was a supply problem. It's not. It's the product line. So now we can say what you actually bought because it was never a car company. Car companies live by volume. Build more, sell more, discount when demand dips. You do the opposite of all 3 and get rewarded for it. Look at how your money behaves. The product appreciates like art. The customers apply like students. The parts come from everyone, but the desire comes only from you. You bought a luxury house that happens to express itself in 12 cylinders, or mess with a heartbeat. And the sacred rule finally makes sense. 1 car less than the market demands isn't modesty. It's the engine. The empty space on the waiting list does more work than the factory floor. Every car you refuse to build makes every car you do build worth more. Your best product, infinite margin, 0 production cost, no supplier required, is the no. So who gets rich? You, spectacularly, the fattest margins in the car world, and customers who defend the brand harder than your PR department. The suppliers, Brembo, Pirelli, and friends, quietly selling shovels to every gold rush at once, yours and Lamborghini's. The early collectors whose garages became 8-figure museums while they slept. Who doesn't? Dimitri, for now. Though he's strangely happy about it. The mass automakers selling 100 times the cars for a fraction of the reverence, wondering why their Ferrari killers never kill anything. And anyone who tries to copy this playbook without the 70 years of myth, because you can manufacture scarcity in a week, but a legend takes generations, and there are no suppliers for it. If you'd still rather run Toyota than Ferrari after all this, genuinely, tell me why in the comments. Volume versus velvet rope. I want to see who picks volume. All right, the owner score.